Um, I'm not very good at making New Year's resolutions. I don't even know that I like the idea of New Year's resolutions. I guess I like the idea of it being a new year so you can do new things. That's pretty cool. I think that instead of the idea of changing things, bigger on the idea of coming up with a list of things I could accomplish in a year. So I just jotted down some ideas of things I'd like to accomplish in 2018 and I wrote them down on my phone. So I'm just going to go through a few of the things that I was thinking that Mike Reynolds could pull off this year. Maybe some of these things are things that you're looking to accomplish too. These are very personalized ones for me. If you have your own list, leave them down in the comments. That'd be cool. We can start our own list of things. Read 5 books. I see other people coming up with a list of like 52 books I'd like to read, or 50 books I'd like to read, or 100 books I'd like to read. I'll be honest, I don't read nearly as much as I used to, and I would love to finish even 5 books in 2018. Right now I'm reading The Golden Compass because I remember liking it before, and I'm going to start it again. Visit a new province or state. I cheated a little bit on this one because I know I'm going to New Orleans in a few weeks. I've never been to Louisiana, so that's going to be a pretty easy one to knock off. Nevertheless, I think that traveling is something that I've been privileged enough to be able to do, so I'm pretty excited to be able to knock off another location. Run a half marathon in under 2 hours. So this doesn't have to be a timed one either because I've run quite a few half marathons at this point, but over the last few years I've started to enjoy chip-timed marathons less and less. So this year I would just like to run 21.1 kilometers in under 2 hours. Learn to draw. My daughter's got a bunch of art kits over the holidays and we were just looking around on YouTube and I found some drawing channels for them, and I've basically drawn 3 drawings plus every day since then because it's always something that I've wanted to be able to do and always something I've told myself I'm not talented enough to do. But you know what? I don't care. I'm following kid tutorials, kid drawing tutorials, and I love it. So I'm going to keep learning. Maybe by the end of the year I won't need tutorials anymore either. Learn to cross stitch. I see some of the coolest feminist cross-stitch pieces in the world. I buy cross-stitch pieces for Andrea. I want to be able to cross-stitch and there's no reason why I can't learn. Give 3 talks on dads and masculinity. This is something that personally is a pretty big deal for me, being able to speak about masculinity, being to talk about fatherhood, being to talk about the kindle and gentle masculinity that I think men can very easily portray. And I'd like to start talking about this more. I have 1 talk already lined up, so I just need 2 more to get there. Raise $1,000 for organizations. So people may know about the Everyday Girl Dad shirt, so I do like to raise money. I did some Santa letter writing campaigns last year as well. I don't think I quite reached $1,000 in donations last year, but I was probably pretty close. So this year I'm just going to keep tabs on that and try to raise $1,000 through the Everyday Girl Dad shirts and some other fundraisers that I'll come up with throughout the year. Hand in hand with that is figure out what in the world I'm going to do with the Everyday Girl Dad t-shirts. This has been extremely fun for me to do. I really like putting out positive messages for men and for dads, but I'm spending more money than I'm making some months, and that is just not a very good fundraising model. Continue to talk openly about mental health. Last year I talked about seeing a psychologist. That is fine with me. That's what I do in life. I just like to keep talking about this openly. It's not something that I try to hide. Neither talking about a psychologist or talking about any medication that I'm taking. Really, that's just part of my life, and I think that it is totally normal to talk about these things. So I'm going to continue to do that. Help my daughters raise $250 for their own organizations that they choose. I talked about the Everyday Girl Dad shirts, and I support organizations that I really believe in. So I'd like to help set them up to raise some money in whatever way. So they can choose some of the ways, and I'll help support them in their endeavors to start fundraising. So this one is a longer one compared to the other one. So be thoughtful about how I spend my money. So support businesses run by women, people of color, trans run businesses. This is just not spending to be to save the most money. This is spending to support the people who I want to support. There's so much great art out there. This is talking about getting tattoos, getting haircuts, the food that I order, the restaurants that we go to. So it's just trying to be mindful of where we're putting the money we spend, that we're supporting people that we want to support. Drink less beer and eat less meat. I am also going to add on to this one, drink less pop, because pop I drink too much of, beer I drink too much of, and meat is just something I'd like to start having far more meat-free meals throughout the week. recognize when I simply need to take care of myself. So this is something that I struggle with. I always find the need to be busy, to be doing something, to be productive, to be making change. And there are times when I should just be saying, you know what, it's 8:30, I'm lying in bed and I'm just going to stay there for the rest of the night. Some nights that's the best thing you can do for yourself, and I am going to get better at accepting that as really good practice. Learn better allyship. So this is something that I have been working on for a few years now and can obviously always get better at. So this is, it's going to be done in a number of ways. It's through self-education, it's through taking criticism well, it's through trying to be a better bystander, so you act more, you listen more, you speak more, and you support people better. And I just need to be better at this. I mean, allyship isn't something that ever ends. You never stop learning to become a better ally. You never stop learning to become a more supportive person. And I would like to start a series of videos where I chat with my daughters about social issues, because I think this is a really important part about being a parent, is making sure your kids grow up being very informed and noting that you can also learn from them. So I'd like to start getting a better idea of what their experiences are as an 8-year-old girl and as a soon-to-be 6-year-old girl, and I'll share my experience of what it's like to be a 38-year-old man who's trying to raise these kids. So I just think that'd be some pretty fun conversations with the 2 kids who inspire me to try to become a better person. So that's it. That's my list. That's some pretty big stuff, some pretty small stuff, some stuff I know I'm going to accomplish, some stuff that's going to be a bigger struggle. I could even add to this list, don't be mad if you don't finish everything on your list of things to do in 2018, but I'd like to at least get going on all of these. So like I said earlier, if there is something that you're trying to accomplish in 2018, feel free to leave that in the comments and we'll do this all together. With that, I'm going to go draw some more. See you later.